Welcome back to DajibanLife. I'm here today, and I'm going to be changing out my brake pads. I decided not to change my rotors and stuff while I'm at it, just because of what happened. My evaluation of what this van is, which is a piece of trash at this point, and I'm basically just going to ride it into the ground until it stops, working. And then throw it away because I don't think it really should be on the road. It's really not roadworthy. It's a death trap, but it's all right. Whatever. YOLO. You only live once, right? And it has been serving a purpose, saving me money and getting me where I want to go. You know what I mean? Like quite literally. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna check and see if the ball joints and stuff are doing okay. I've been hearing a lot of snapping and crackling and popping and stuff. That doesn't sound good or normal. So I'm sort of afraid that some of the components are already going bad. There's not much I can do about it, you know what I mean? So I think this van is pretty much at the end of its life. It's had a good run, so that's why I don't even care about any of this stuff. And I think that's okay, I think that's in the spirit of a Dajiban. Because as far as I know, I'm not Japanese, I don't really know about the culture too well. But from what I've seen, it feels like it was just a bunch of dudes who picked these up, in Japan to cart around their motorcycles when they were racing. And then they just decided to hoon them and just just YOLO it around the track. And I don't think they really, it started off as like a rebel kind of thing, and they didn't really care about their van so much. And then it turned into like this, almost like a joke, like a meme. You know what I mean? Kind of like what happened with GameStop, the meme stock. And I'm all for that kind of stuff. Just YOLOing the hell out of there. Another thing that happened was my wing finally broke in half. It didn't break on the road or on the freeway or anything, which is good because I didn't want to cause damage to cars behind me. It was just I noticed it flopping around again, so I took it off. And before, it used to be at least connected in the middle, sort of, via the polyurethane. But you can see here, this is where the backup camera went. The plastic completely cracked. So, good thing that didn't happen on the freeway and potentially would have caused some, damage to the people behind me. My backup camera is just sort of dangling right now. This is so ghetto. I can kind of see why cops would want to bother me, because you just have this like piece of crap van falling apart that's probably not even safe for the street, honestly. Rolling around, being an idiot. What can I say? That's kind of who I am. Alright, so I got the caliper off. I tried to see if there was a way to change the pads out without taking the caliper off, but apparently you gotta slide this guy off. So this guy slides on like this, I think. Yeah. Or maybe it's the other way around. Oh man, I forgot how this goes on. It probably only goes on one way, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm assuming since the I'm not very smart. Yeah, it goes on like this. So yeah, you basically have to, there's these little metal thingies, if you've never done this before, and you basically have to open the tab so it slides off, and so you can get the brake pads off. And you got to take out the I forgot what these are called, but the brake it helps with the caliper, the movement of the caliper in and out. And it looks like I need to re-grease these. freaking Dodge, man, making me use my brain. That's the last thing I want to do when I fix cars, is use my brain. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of thinking when you're fixing a car? You just replace, you know, one thing. It should just be intuitive. You just do things, and it just, without thinking, it just works out in the end. You know what I mean? That's what I like. But this is a puzzle right here. So I need to find myself out of this maze. I'm stuck in the hedge maze. All right, let's see. I think I got it. You got to put it on in stages. So you got to slide this thing on. Then before you go too far, you got to slide the first pad on. And then you slide it in a little bit more. And then you put the second pad on. And I think that looks like it's working. Oh jeez. Yeah. So that was a lot more brain power than I was willing to use today. I wanted to use 0. But I used a little bit, so yeah. All right, that's pretty much done. I just need to tighten the bolts on the back that holds this guy on. Do the other side and then pump the brakes, and that should be done. That took all of what, 20 minutes for this one side, so maybe not even 20 minutes, but 20 minutes for the other side. It should be done in under an hour. So it's a very easy job. Any ape can do it, like me, no matter how dumb you are. So definitely for easy maintenance like this, I wouldn't take it to a mechanic if you have the tools and the time to do it. If your time is more valuable than you know, doing your own work, then I would ask you, like, why the hell do you own a Dajiban? This is probably the dumbest thing, one of the dumber things. Like, I get why the Japanese do it. I'm not saying they're dumb, but over here in America, there's absolutely no reason. I mean, it's cool. It's pretty cool, but man, it's a pain in the ass. Especially this one. This one's a pain in the ass. So maybe I just bought a bad one. But but yeah, if it didn't make me laugh so much, I probably wouldn't do it. But it does bring me joy. And that's what really matters, is the enjoyment that you get out of your car. Even though it's stupid and no one likes it. Except you, and that's all that matters. Alright, so this side's done. This side took a little bit longer than I thought it would, because just some of these angles in here are just terrible. I mean, I probably should have tried to undo the caliper bolts while the caliper was still on the spindle, but I didn't try that because on the other side you can't get, there's no way to get to them without taking the caliper off. But that side was, the other side, the passenger side, was easier to undo the caliper bolts with the, it's easier to get them off with the caliper off, if that makes sense. But on the driver's side, the caliper bolts are just not positioned well. Like here, I'll show you. So I don't have the right tools, obviously, so if I had better tools, it would probably work better. But I'm basically just using the socket wrench with a star pattern, what do you call it, a bit. But you got this, you know, metal, what do you call it, brake line, right? So I got to get in here, and then I got to do stuff. But the amount of travel I have is maybe like 6 inches. You know what I mean? So what can you get done in this amount of space right here? You know what I mean? And the thing is, I could undo with the brake line, but then I have to bleed it and do it all over, right? Fill it up with brake fluid and do all that, right? Which I don't want to. So to keep with the brakes on the car, right, in order to get this into a more like advantageous position to work on, I would have to undo the ball joint assembly, take the spindle off, move the brake pad. That's why I was saying when I was doing the ball joints last week that this brake line is in a really stupid place. Like, why is it here? You know what I mean? You're limiting the amount of movement that your caliper can move to service it. It's a terrible design for servicing. I mean, I can see why, like Ford and Chevy won out in like some of the bids for contracts, like government contracts and stuff. Like, you don't see Dodge government vehicles anymore because like this, trying to work on this is just a freaking, it's a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked on Ford trucks and Chevys, and they're so much easier to work. Sorry, my battery ran out. So, but like I was saying, just the amount of clearances you have for your tools to get in and stuff just makes this much harder than it should be to work on. A brake job should really only take 10 minutes, honestly, for a good tech for each side. Because it's just, you know, boom, boom, take these out, put the new ones in, boom, you're done, you know. Unless you're doing a rotor change, 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes tops, you know what I mean? If you know what you're doing. But this, man, I spent more than 20 minutes on this, just on getting the bolt, you know what I mean, getting to that bolt. I mean, it's probably been like total 30 minutes, so it's really not that big of a difference. But man, it's so just a dumb design. And I have a feeling that, you know, the Japanese, you know, probably went to Ferrari calipers because they're probably just easier to work on, honestly. As dumb as that sounds. And these, like, they don't make Dodge vans in Japan, right? So this part, it's probably really hard to get. Like, let's say they wanted to, you know, get another set of calipers. Like, let's say they screwed theirs up somehow, the stock ones, and they tried to source another pair. Like, it would probably be astronomical, the price they'd have to pay to get it imported from here, basically, right? So might as well, if you're going to spend that kind of money, might as well go to Ferrari calipers, right? I mean, I don't know why, or if that's the actual reason that they went to Ferrari calipers. But, you know, I can see that being, having a case. Other than that, inspecting all the parts and stuff, the ball joint looks like it's still doing good. It's still in there. This was sort of not threading, I think, on this side. Or was it the other side? It might have been the other side. But on that side too, it was fine. The bottom ball joint looks fine. The only thing I noticed that's really wrong is that I'm missing a nut right here that holds the brake line to the thing. That's probably what the snap, crackle, popping I was hearing. And so, you know, that's unfortunate. I do not have a replacement, unfortunately, so I don't think it's really gonna hurt anything, just flopping around like that. I went through like full range of motion, and yeah, it smacks up on stuff. It might get caught up on something, but for the most part, I think it's okay. I mean, I guess I should at least like tape it onto the control arm for now or something. I'll figure something out. Zip tie it maybe, just so it doesn't get caught on something and rip, and then lose brake pressure, you know what I mean, and not have brakes. So I'll probably end up just zip tying it on here for now until I go to the junkyard for some other nonsense that breaks on this van that I have to replace. And then, you know, just pick up a nut while I'm there then. But I guess I should be buying new parts instead of just sourcing them from the junkyard all the time. But yeah, I just, you know, the whole point was to save money. This was never like a build, you know what I mean? I never wanted to build this van into something like a show vehicle or anything like that. I just didn't care. It's a YOLO van, basically. It's a YOLO van, help me save money, and while I'm saving money, might as well have some fun with it. Get a few laughs, you know what I mean? Almost die a couple times. Yeah, it builds character. It's a story. So, get some weird looks, get bothered by the cops a lot. I had the cops called on me one time. I wasn't even in the van, you know? I was at a park because of, you know, the shutdowns and stuff. I was working out at the park, and some guy, he like walked, you know, by me, and he's like staring me down like for like a good, I would say 10 minutes, just like staring at me, you know what I mean? Like he'd walk by and then he stopped, and then he was just like watching me work out. I thought it was really creepy, and I'm like, you know, what are you looking at, kind of deal. And he was like, do you live here? And I was like, what kind of question is that? You know, like, who cares if I live? This is a public park. I mean, I was thinking that, but I just answered with, yeah. you know. Whatever, bro, you know, like, what does it matter if I don't, or, you know, even if I said no, what's he gonna do then, you know? Like, it's a public park, it's a city park. Anyway, I think he called the cops on me because the cop rolled up maybe 10 minutes after that, after he left, and started questioning me about stuff. And I'm just like, bro, is it illegal to work out at a park? Like, what the fuck is going on right now? Sorry for the language, but I was pretty pissed off. I was like, why am I being harassed? You know, like, this does not make sense. And so, I mean, I get it. You know, like, perception is important. Like, you know, like how you look plays a part. Like, it wasn't that I looked like a homeless guy or anything either. I had a weight vest on, you know, I had workout clothes on. Like, I didn't look weird. I wasn't dirty or anything like that. But I mean, I guess he associated, because I was the van was the only van parked in the parking lot. So I guess he thought my van was mine, you know, correctly, and he started making an assumption based off of that. I mean, you know, whatever, bro. Like, I have a job, I pay my taxes. If I choose to live in a fucking van, then I should be able to live in a fucking van, you know, if I wanted to. I'm sorry it looks sketchy, but, you know, I just don't care about it that much. Like, I'm not gonna live in a show vehicle, you know what I mean? That's just not, it doesn't even make sense to do that. Like, a show vehicle is a garage crane. You keep it in your garage, and you know, you can daily drive it and stuff, but, you know, you're gonna take care of it, right? Like, for me, I'm living in it. Like, you can't take care of a vehicle you live in that well, because it's gonna get dirty. There's gonna get, you know, there's shit that happens, spills, all kinds of stuff. You know what I mean? It's gross. You have someone living inside their vehicle. It's gross. You know what I mean? So, and this is like a temporary situation anyway. I wasn't planning on living inside my vehicle forever. So yeah, I don't know, man. Some people, they just can't mind their own damn business, you know, and just not care. Like, I wasn't bothering him, but yeah. Anyway, that's enough chatting. I'm gonna go ahead and put this brake caliper back on, pump up the brakes, and you know, maybe drive around the block a little bit, test them out, make sure I don't die on the freeway. And then button it up, and that's it. Yeah, so thanks for watching.